What we meant by automation here is the implementation of technologies or computers, programs, or robots, or any other processes that create a product with minimum human input. And what we meant by heavily taxing here is giving a manufacturing corporation that automate majority of their work, bigger tax, rather than the corps that still rely on at least 80% of their work on human. For the status quo, nowadays, manufacturing corporations slowly change their workers with machines or automated system if they had a chance. This is done in order to minimize production costs, and maximize output. However, they still don't get heavily taxed for this. The problem is, because of this, many corporations that chooses to automate their work using machine, they had to fire some of their workers because they didn't need them anymore. Especially if the corps chooses to automate majority of their works, then more people will be sent home. Since we are okay to heavily tax automated corps, especially if they have majority of their work automated, and we are not okay to not heavily tax these corps that majority of their work is automated. The mechanism is tax will go up percentage according to how much that company use automation in their company. For the burden of proof, where is it justified to heavily tax this corporation that heavily automated their company when why can it bring more good and harm? According to the status quo, corporation will most likely choose to automate rather than sticking to human resources. Why? Because it is more efficient rather than the efficient cost and time, and then it is more effective. What will happen? The first one, companies that usually annually hiring for new positions in their work will stop hiring. Why? This is because they slowly didn't need any more new workers for their company, because slowly they use machine for their production. And this can affect for the fresh graduate that has been graduated from their schools, searching for a new job, and it will be harder for them to search for a job, and they will most likely struggling for life. For the second one, they will eventually get rid of their workers one by one, because slowly, majority of their work will be get done by the automation process, either by computer or even machine. And because of this, their workers will be fired one by one because they didn't need them anymore. The third one is the worker that got fired can potentially go poor because they didn't have any income for their needs every day. The fourth one, corps will get the benefit, but the regular people that works for them got its bad impact. Why? Because corps will still get the salary from their company, their machine, but the people that got fired will got practically almost nothing, rather than they will got the pocket money from their company. But it still won't be enough for them to search for a new job. How? The first one, of course, company will rather choose less cost than the higher cost. If the majority of the worker is a human, then they have to pay for the salary, and this is why they have higher cost if they are working with human. But automation get rid all of it. They in exchange for better impact. Yes, it is a win solution for the company or the corporation, but not for the workers that got fired. The workers potentially be harder to get a new job because slowly company will turn automation on their company because they didn't get taxed big enough to run this automation, and then because of this, a lot of workers that got fired will potentially go poor because usually pocket money that has been given by the company is not enough until the workers that got fired find a new job. Because we know, of course, slowly a company will be slowly turned into automation one by one, and a lot of company will change their majority of work into automation. Why? Because they didn't get heavily taxed, and they will, of course, considering lesser cost and then the most benefit for them. And then why the workers can become bored? Of course, they have to feed themselves, and if they have family, they have to feed their family. Especially if the workers are a man or a man that already have family and become a person that have the obligation to fulfill their family needs. Then the second one, the rate of people or family around us that goes poor will be rising. Why? Because workers keep getting replaced by machine, but the company didn't get high enough tax, that resulting in a greater wealth for business or businessmen or even people that have higher authorization in their business, but lesser wealth for regular people. Then what will happen? The first one is unstable economic of the country. Why? Because people will most likely go poor if they can't have a new job in a days to come. Why? Because people will mostly will be hard to fulfill their needs, but for the people that own a company or even a businessman that own automation company, they will still be a good health, but they can't support the poor people, especially if the government didn't have enough funds to help the poor people. The second one, increasing rate of crime. This is because the rate of crime will be raised if the poor rate rises. Why? Because if poor people have no other choices to fulfill their needs, they will most likely do a crime just to fulfill their needs. And then the third one, government can fulfill their people's need. This is back from the first point that government didn't get enough funds from the corporation that use automation, because the corporation won't be paying their workers anymore, but the government will always need to help their people, but they haven't got enough tax or haven't got enough funds to help them. Justified? Of course it's justified, because by implementing huge taxes for this corps that use automation, then our government will have received a greater amount of money or funds to help people that got sent home because of their automation. Other than that, this act also makes corporations considering on human resources more rather than the machine, because humans are key to bring our countries to its glory, not just the machine. Because if our government have enough tax or have enough funds to help poor people, then our government will be able to fulfill their obligation. And what is that obligation? Is to fulfill their people's needs. And if as people, they also have rights to gain some wealth. And this is why we are strongly propose this motion. Thank you.